I grew up wearing a label I never chose. The mess. That's what my relatives called me when I wasn't in the room. I wasn't irresponsible. I was exhausted from trying to climb out of holes I didn't dig. By 32, I was back in my childhood bedroom, staring at the same cracked ceiling I used to count when I was a kid, wondering how every step forward always turned into a fall. When people say they feel like the problem in their own life, they usually mean one or two things went wrong. For me, it was everything. Rent applications rejected, car loans denied. Even basic utilities demanded deposits I couldn't afford. I didn't understand how other adults made it look so easy. All I knew was I kept trying harder and somehow falling faster. What I didn't know yet was that my life wasn't broken by bad choices. It was being quietly rerouted by someone who shared my last name. The laugh came through the phone first. Not unkind, just surprised. The lender said I had defaulted on multiple cards years ago. I actually checked the calendar because I thought she had the wrong person. I was 23 at the time, working retail, barely keeping the lights on. I had never owned a card. After hanging up, I stared at the wall for a full minute before the panic hit. I pulled my reports that night, heart racing as the pages loaded. Lines of debt I didn't recognize. Addresses I had never lived at. Phone numbers I'd never used. It felt like reading someone else's life written in my name. I kept thinking there had to be a mistake, that systems don't just invent this stuff. But the deeper I scrolled, the clearer it became that this wasn't random. It was organized. I printed everything, highlighted lines, sorted accounts by date. Every few pages another impossible detail popped out. Accounts opened when I lived across the country, utilities tied to places I'd never seen. I became obsessed with timelines. That's when the pattern appeared. The accounts didn't start randomly. They began the year my dad passed away. I was 18, still numb, still grieving. While I was barely functioning, someone was building a financial shadow version of me. It wasn't one incident. It was a system. One card led to another. Missed payments stacked up like quiet landmines waiting years to explode. And then I saw the first familiar address. My uncle's. Seeing his address made my stomach flip. I tried to convince myself it was coincidence. But then I found a loan listing him as co-applicant. The handwriting wasn't mine. I compared it to birthday cards I'd saved from childhood. The loops matched. I felt something tear inside me that I didn't have words for. This wasn't a stranger. This was someone who used to pick me up from school. Someone who told me I could always trust family. I spent nights pulling old boxes from the attic, searching for mail, cross-checking dates. Every answer led back to the same place, home. They liked telling stories about me, about how I never figured things out. The night my uncle slid a card across the kitchen table like evidence of my failure, the room went quiet in that familiar way. My mom stared at her plate. My aunt sighed. I bent down to pick it up, hands shaking. They didn't see the envelope inside my jacket. They didn't know that every laugh, every sideways glance was now backed by paper I could prove. I had stopped trying to explain myself weeks earlier. Tonight wasn't about defending who I was. It was about exposing what had been done to me. Inside were copies of everything. Loan forms, applications, payment histories. I had arranged them chronologically like a timeline of quiet damage. It wasn't rage that carried me to my feet. It was relief. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't guessing anymore. I wasn't broken. I was documented. I laid the first page down and explained calmly where I was on that day. Then another. Then another. Each sheet drained a little more color from his face. The jokes stopped. The room didn't erupt. It collapsed into silence. When he finally asked why I was doing this, I said the only honest thing I had left, because I deserved the truth about my own life. 3 weeks later, I moved out. No shouting, no big scene, just a suitcase and a clean break. I didn't take revenge, I took my future. Fixing my credit will take years. But now every call, every form, every step forward belongs to me. I'm not perfect, but I finally know my story isn't defined by whispers behind my back. The hardest part wasn't discovering what happened. It was learning that harm doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from people who taught you how to spell your name. I don't carry anger anymore. I carry boundaries. The real lesson isn't about money or credit. It's about listening to the quiet voice inside you that says something isn't right, even when everyone else insists it is.